This city is the most multicultural city in the world and also considered the most talked about city in Canada.
Oh, I love the city. I love the Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
A city recognized across the globe for its skyline, its diversity, its culture, and of course the iconic CN Tower, once the tallest freestanding structure in the world, and still the symbol of the city itself.
CN Tower. It's a very beautiful place.
This is Toronto.
Drake is there too.
Let's go Blue Jays. The Dodgers, go Blue Jays. Blue Jays bomb for life. Three more.
This is Yonge Street, guys. The longest street in the
Also
world.
home to Yonge Street, once recognized as the longest street in the world, stretching through Ontario and becoming part of the identity of the city.
This city is full of life.
The city also hosts world-renowned events like the Toronto's International Film Festival.
You guys ready to have some fun?
And now, Toronto prepares for another moment on the world stage as one of the cities for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. But the more time you spend here, you start to realize something important. They call this place the Six.
It's something to do with Drake, right?
Ooh. Oh my God, I love that. They call it the Six.
The name became popular around the world.
I'd probably say the only city I know that's called the Six is Toronto.
The Six. That's what they call it. The Six.
How did the name come about?
I believe that's just the area code from the 416 and the 647. That's how they got the Six. I don't know unless there's another.
A city of six hearts beating as one. Six boroughs made up of different people, different cultures, and different stories, all moving together in one big city. Home to more than 6 million people if you count the entire Greater Toronto area. And then I asked myself, how do people actually live here? Is it the skyline that keeps them, or is it the idea that anything can happen here?
It's 2 a.m. and we are heading to Toronto.
Our goal is to see how Toronto really works, its people, its routines, and the places that shape the city, from morning rush to the nightlife.
Toronto nightlife? Yeah, man. Bro, it's crazy. Because we don't have a sponsor for this trip, for $5, so we might be sleeping in the car for the next few days because we have to tell this story.
What truly defines Toronto is its people. More than half of the city's population was born outside Canada, and that diversity can be seen everywhere.
We just arrived 6 a.m. after driving 4 hours from the north. Look around, sirens, it's so noisy, guys.
I wondered how long it takes kids to get to school in a place this busy. Every corner felt like somewhere already in motion.
Welcome to the city that never sleeps.
But to understand this place, we have to go back to the beginning.
My ears are already blocked. Sounds of sirens, footsteps, cars. God, it's so noisy.
Before Toronto became the huge city we know today, Indigenous communities lived here for thousands of years along the Lake Ontario. The land around the lake was a place of trade, movement, gathering, and survival. The name Toronto is believed to come from a Mohawk word, Takoronto, meaning where there are trees standing in the water. After Canada became a country in 1867, Toronto quickly grew because of its economy, rail connections, and locations, eventually becoming the political and economic center of Ontario.
Looks like Amazon. This is in Toronto. How long have you been in Toronto?
40 years?
What city is known as the Six?
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah, it's something to do with Drake.
What is one thing you love about this city?
I like these natural areas
Yeah.
and the ravines.
Yeah. You're from Toronto as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's one thing you love about this city?
Oh, I have to agree with that. You know, the natural areas, the ravines.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have a good selection of entertainment, sports, the restaurants, etc.
Yeah.
Some bike trails.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the city. I love downtown. I love the Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Where is your most favorite place in the city?
Oh, the beaches. Woodbine, Lakeshore, the boardwalk.
Yeah. What about you?
One most favorite place in the city. High Park.
If you couldn't live in Toronto, what city would you choose to live in and why?
Probably choose a place near lake. I love the water.
I would probably choose a place near the ocean, a warm ocean, maybe the Mediterranean.
Because of its closeness to the Lake Ontario, Toronto has always grown alongside the water. In the summer, the waterfront becomes one of Toronto's most peaceful escapes. The lake carries the city's reflection, and as boats glide across the water, you begin to hear a different side of Toronto. Water, wind, and motion. And suddenly, a familiar city begins to feel different when seen from the edge of the lake.
I don't know. I don't love anything about the city. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. The what?
Everyone has their own opinion about this place.
There's always something to do. There's always something interesting to see when you're walking around. I mean, I like to walk around and take pictures. I mean, I think that it's like the little thing. I really like Kensington Market. I think I like to look at all the vintage stores there. I buy a lot of jewelry there. There's like cool seeing really cool.
How long have you been in Toronto?
About like almost 3 years already. Yeah.
What's one thing you love about Toronto?
Actually, there's a lot of pressure. Actually, you know, this city is very fast, so you gotta be fast also. Like if you're lazy a little bit, you're gonna get lost or something like that. You know, so that's how I'm here in Toronto.
You're a student here?
I was a student. Actually, that's correct.
How is it like, being a student and coping in a city like this?
There's a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie. People think that it's very easy when you're a student right here, but the good thing to do is like you have to work very, very hard and always be focused, because as a student, there's a lot of pressure. You're new to the city. There's a lot of things. The program is maybe different from where you came from, so you always have to try to keep the process going on slowly and trust on yourself. That's it.
Would you prefer to live anywhere other than Toronto?
Actually, it depends. There's a lot of opportunities right here in Toronto, so it's a very great city to live in, because this is I can say a city with a lot of businesses from Canada. So according to business, I would prefer to live here. But if it's a place where there's not a lot of people, very calm, maybe not a city, I don't know, like Calgary, or it all depends.
What's one of the biggest challenges you've ever faced living in the city?
Oh, challenges? Actually, in the beginning when I was here, so I was very into the rush about getting a job and stuff like that. So that was my first challenge. It wasn't that easy to get a job. I think that's one of the the common subjects what students talks about. So that was my first challenge, getting the job. And the other one, I don't know if I had a lot of challenges, but the biggest one is to get a job and to survive right here. Yeah.
Takes really lot. I have paid 25 Indian rupees for just the degree. And I'm not even counting my rent here in Toronto. I'm not even counting my expenses. It takes a lot more than what you earn in 24 hours, honestly. It takes a lot.
How much do you pay for rent?
It's almost $1,100. Yeah, so the rent is not going down. It's nowhere going down. So yeah, it's really expensive living here. But GTA is love. Nobody's gonna leave here. Yeah.
It's a nice city. Everybody is very receptive. Everybody smiles to everybody, and it looks good. I came for the graduation of a friend, and everything is okay.
Do you work?
No, I don't work. I'm a full-time student.
How much do you pay for rent?
$2,000
a month.
A month, yeah.
Every person here is chasing something: work, love, dreams, or maybe the next stop.
Well, I was born here. I grew up in St. Clair West. I think I love the people here. There's a certain energy that Toronto has, a certain hustle. I do film stuff and comedy stuff, and I really feel at night the city's alive with so much opportunity for people to chase their passions and their hobbies. There's a lot of opportunity. A lot of people who want to see people succeed in the city. That traffic, dude, it's horrible. We're look over here. I feel we struggle with long-term planning, traffic, transit. They're getting better at bike lanes, but getting around kind of sucks. Favorite food in Toronto? There is a restaurant called, you know what? Dave's Hot Chicken is really good. I love a good chicken sandwich. I think that's going to be my favorite restaurant / like fast food to kind of grab in the city. But that's the thing, I can't give a good answer because there's so many great spots to get food in the city that, like, depending on your mood, I just feel like international food as well. Like, interesting, someone was telling me, like, we're one of the best cities in the world for international food. We have little pockets throughout each neighborhood, Chinatown, different locations. So I feel like that's one thing we also excel in is food.
A lot of parking here is built upward and underground to make room for the number of cars coming into the city every day. One thing you notice quickly in Toronto is how many people use bike share. Instead of driving everywhere, people just unlock a bike, drive through the city, and leave it at another location when they are done. In a busy place like this, it saves time and helps avoid traffic.
The penalty for loss, if you lose this bike, it's 1,200 Canadian dollars, guys. So whenever you're riding this bike, make sure you don't lose it. Right behind me, you see this track? It holds a deep story.
Transit is a part of the city's identity. The subway trains move millions every year, where on a single ride, you can hear languages from every corner of the world. And rolling through downtown are Toronto's iconic red streetcars, still powered by overhead electric wires, and part of one of the oldest streetcar systems still operating in North America.
I love the multiculturalism and the diversity, that there's so many different cultures and races and types of people. I just feel comfortable.
How long have you been in Toronto?
I was born in Toronto. Yeah.
You were born in Toronto?
I was born in Toronto, yeah.
What's your favorite place in this city?
Ooh, there's a lot, but I'd probably have to say I love Scarborough, from Scarborough. They have the best food scene in the city, so much diversity out there. Yeah.
Best food, what food is that?
Oh, they have like so many different cultures, everything from Southeast Asian to African to, Greek, like everything, all types of food I find you can definitely find in Scarborough.
What city is known as the Six?
Other than Toronto? Toronto? Is that the answer? Is that
Tell me it's a question.
I'd probably say the only city I know that's called the Six is Toronto.
Yeah, what's the history behind that?
It's the area code. So the primary area code, or one of the original area codes, was 416. So they started. So I guess I don't want to say if it was Drake, but whoever started calling it the Six.
Yeah, Drake made it popular.
The people, it's always changing. Growing, morphing, changing. It's the city. It's evolution. It's growing. People coming from all around the world. Very multicultural. I love that about it.
I moved here when I was like 6.
Yeah.
But I recently moved back from university, so I love the fact that you could be here for so many years and still have so many things to do and explore. Maybe the transit. It's kind of smelly sometimes, kind of slow, but teaches you patience.
Just recently, the public transit, how it's gotten worse. It's a lot dirtier, and there's just a lot more incidences happening on public transit. Yeah, that's one thing I could say I don't really like. Yeah.
What's one of the biggest challenges you faced in Toronto?
Violence. If you're not around the right people, man, you could be around some crazy ass people. You just got to be careful wherever you go. But there's still that heightened sense of awareness and shit like that.
Yeah. The safety of it, just being really safe, and not really that much crime going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every corner here feels alive. You hear different languages, you smell different food, you see different faces from everywhere all over the world.
And in places like Chinatown, you begin to understand what that really means. The language, the food, the science, and the atmosphere can make you feel like you've traveled to another part of the world without ever leaving the city.
Hello, how's it going? Yeah, how much do you sell? $5.
He said, this one is called Shayuti.
Yeah, I need one of it.
It's organic.
What's it called? coyote? Is it a fruit?
Oh, yeah, open next.
Yeah. Is it sweet? How does it taste?
Small details like this say a lot about this neighborhood.
Okay, I'm going to try this for the first time.
As an immigrant, I've been visiting Chinatown since I first came to Canada, and you know, this area as a whole has been gentrified quite a bit. Before there were a lot of like buildings that were older. As a whole, the Chinatown is not the same as, you know, it used to be before. Now it's more modern.
At night, the city eats. We are sitting down for hot pot, the kind of cook-it-yourself meal where the food boils right in front of you.
There's the dipping sauce. Yeah. Spicy garlic. Yeah. Actually, this one is already like well cooked, like already salty enough. You can try the taste first.
This guy, not me, bro. This guy, I'm not shaking. Bro, are you cold?
I'm cold, bro.
This is Toronto, bro. I thought Toronto is not a cold city.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, people telling me, yeah, man, come here, it's gonna be warmer.
The city doesn't slow down. Lights, traffic, people still moving. We are still moving too.
Oh,
Jesus.
Look at what just happened.
What's happened?
Toronto's Chinatown didn't start here. The first Chinese businesses appeared in the late 1800s, mostly small laundries run by men who came to Canada after working on the railways. Over time, these shops grew into a community in an area called The Ward, near Elizabeth Street. But in the 1950s and 60s, most of that neighborhood was torn down to build a new city hall. So the community moved west towards Spadina and Dundas, and that's the Chinatown we know today.
That's St. Lawrence Market right there, guys. The oldest market in Toronto. Over 120 vendors right in there.
St. Lawrence Market has been here since 1803, over 200 years now. And one thing you notice about Toronto is that a lot of people don't really cook. Life moves fast here, so places like this become part of everyday life. You stop, you grab food, and you keep moving.
I was born and raised here.
What's one thing you love about the city?
Oh, there's so much you can do here. Mm-hmm. Everybody's friendly, it's multicultural. It's good. It's a great place to live.
How do you balance your daily life and work while living in Toronto?
Well, I work for the post office. I've been here about 35 years. It's a good job. It's not a good job as it used to be, but close to retirement now. So that's a good thing. Yeah, there's just so much I can do here. A lot of sports teams here. The Jays, as you know, are playing tonight.
Today, yeah.
World Series.
Which team are you supporting?
Toronto. Fine.
Yeah, I can feel.
Yeah, I think we're gonna sweep them.
What's one challenge you think Toronto is facing?
Our politics isn't doing good. They're not doing a very good job. You know, could be better.
What do you think they can do to make it better?
Bring our taxes down to get more people spending money. You know, like we're overtaxed in this province. This is the most overtaxed province in all Canada. It's Ontario.
Okay, how long have you been in this city?
Like 2 years. Toronto is a beautiful town, actually. Being a student in Toronto, very, very hard.
What's one of the biggest challenges you face being a student?
Working as a student is very tough because they don't have like a lot part-time jobs. Like since we are limited as students to have we have certain number of hours to work, like 24 hours. It's very tough to have work. Like it's the biggest challenge is working while being a student.
What's your favorite place in Toronto?
CN Tower. It's a very beautiful place. I went there for my birthday last year and I love it. Yeah.
When you hear people say, come to Toronto and I'll take you to the CN Towers, that's the CN Towers right there.
That tower, the one you can see from almost anywhere in the city. Built in the 1970s, it rises more than 550 meters into the sky. And for decades, it was the tallest freestanding structure in the world. It wasn't built just to look impressive. It was built to improve communication signals across a fast-growing city filled with skyscrapers.
And action.
Toronto is a city of diversity. There's so much exposure here. Everyone brings their own story, their life, and the people here are really nice too.
Hey!
What's up?
How are you?
How long have you been in Toronto?
Me?
Yeah.
Not too long.
What's one thing you really love about this city?
Oh, the people.
The people.
The people, the events, the games, hockey games, you know.
Yeah. There's a game tonight,
Baseball,
right?
yeah. The concerts.
Yeah.
Like this city is full of life.
Which of the team?
That's what I like. I like when it's something not calm, like something like, you know,
Yeah.
like everybody talk to everybody, like everybody laugh, smile,
Yeah.
everybody happy. Yeah.
Which team are you supporting tonight?
Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Maple Leaf. And Blue Jays as well. They won on the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Anytime, guys. Anytime you come to Toronto, just to come to my service. My phone number is 416-877-0451. Anytime you come to Toronto, call me so I can get you a ride, you and your girlfriend.
Toronto has become one of the biggest sports cities in North America. It is a cultural capital, home to the Toronto's Raptors, the Toronto's Maple Leafs, and the Toronto's Blue Jays.
There's a baseball game going on there tonight. Over there, it's the Toronto versus the Los Angeles. And guess what, man? Drake is there too.
So I don't know about anyone's connections to Shohei, but we do need the hat back.
Outside the stadium, the energy was wild.
What a performance so far from Drake.
The Jays won, and the whole place exploded with hype.
Home runs for the Blue Jays to start the game. Davis Schneider getting a stun.
So overconfident. It was amazing. Felt so much joy in my heart.
Toronto feels different at night. The offices slow down, but the city doesn't stop.
What's one thing about Toronto's nightlife?
It's really random and a lot of energy in general.
It's a lot of clubs, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of energy. Yeah, but like sometimes people don't know how to enjoy it, like really enjoy it.
What is your favorite spot in Toronto?
I'll say the Fifth Social Club and Soluna. I think I like those two, but it's different.
My favorite, right? Usually I'm going to the Korean parties, so that's like mostly in the rec room.
Everyone is too shy to dance. So I think if I have to give like one message to everyone watching this, just keep dancing, guys. Like no one cares, man. Move your body the way you want and put as much as energy, like how you want it to be.
What's the best about Toronto's nightlife?
That the party never ends, and anywhere you go, especially Spadina Street, there's always going to be a party.
I tell you what I hate about Toronto is the weather, but beside that, I love everything else. Like, nightlife was amazing. Everything is so green. People are friendly. Yeah, give Peter a follow. He bought me a beer. This guy's a fucking G. This guy's a fucking G.
Tell me about Toronto's nightlife.
Oh, it's a man of the
Toronto nightlife?
Yeah, man.
Bro, it's crazy. Because of the like multicultural and like the diversity. Like you can be in your culture like any weekend.
What's one thing you love about Toronto?
What I love about Toronto? Like one thing.
One thing.
The people.